when you think about, because you've got kids, I know that. I know they're also like real athletes. When you talk to them, do you encourage them to consider getting into the field of procurement and supply chain? Or, and this might be a parenting question, it might also be an industry question. Or do you say, hey, look, I don't want to influence your world. You do what is interesting to you. But by and large, do you feel like you would encourage people to get into this field? And what would you want to see from someone to decide, hey, look, you're really going to be good at this versus, hey, actually stick with computer science, you know?
So I'll answer your second question first. Yes, I would encourage people to get into this field. I do think just the complexities behind it and the need for it is not going to be eroding anytime soon. You know, unless we can legitimately start I order a part from you and you can start 3D printing that part that meets all of my specifications in my plants, there's always going to be a need. And by the way, even if you can do that, there's going to be somebody like me that needs to find somebody like you that can do that at what we talked about, a fair price earlier. So supply chain, am I going to say it's ever going to go away? I can't. I mean, things disappear, but supply chain's always been critical back to even military lines in the BC era. I mean, it was critical for survival of troops out there. Obviously different form and factor, but it's been around that long. That being said, no, I don't influence my children to get into anything. My whole thing is figure out what you like and go with your passion. My son, you know, it was funny because I'm a proud University of Illinois grad, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Love it. I got a lot of friends there. A lot of my best stories come from there, and you know, just kind of my experiences. My son goes, "Look, if I got a scholarship to Harvard or U of I," I'm like, "Son, pick the one you want." I'm like, Harvard's an accessible school. Whatever's going to suit you. Don't do what I did because I did it. Try to tell my daughter the same thing. It's like, follow your passion. You got to be passionate about something. You got to find something that drives you, but whatever that is, do it. This isn't for everybody. You know, the hours can get wonky because we're in international business. So, I mean, I was on calls till 10 last night. I think you were on a meeting with us 2 weeks ago where we're doing a video conference until 11 plus p.m. my time, and then starting the next day at 8 a.m. my time. It's not for everybody, and kind of the flight schedules, right? You know, when travel gets hectic, especially as you have a family, it can have some wear and tear on you. That being said, though, it's fulfilling. You get to see the benefit of it. One of the key differences that I feel as though in my career now versus when I was in consulting is you'd be brought in as a hired gun to go help the company get better, to save money, you move on. Whatever you recommend, you're not necessarily there to see if it ever gets implemented. You may never know. You know, when I came to Shure, the nice thing is we're producing a tangible product that I see it every day. And like just being that small part of it, kind of like you mentioned earlier, you know, you see Shure, right? People at our company feel a tie to that. And it's nice to know that you're even just the smallest part of doing something to get that out there. You know, it was funny, like earlier on when you were mentioning the Shure aspect of it, that happens for a lot of stuff. You know, when I was in consulting, we were sourcing logistics and I'm like, hey, there's an X truck. And my wife's like, shut up. Like, yes, you've said that the last time. You've talked to them, you sourced them.
Totally. I mean, it's also nice that Shure, especially being, I mean, I'm biased, but being the number one, you know what I mean? Like, it probably feels a lot better knowing that you guys are delivering the product that is chosen consistently by professionals, as opposed to like, hey, we're making something that's a clone of Shure, slightly worse, slightly cheaper. You know what I mean? And that's got to feel really good.